So the next thing for me to do is try and crawl over all this crap and get to my motherboard and match up the holes on the motherboard with the ones on the case, so I'll know where to put the case standoffs. Boring belt. As you can see, I got all my case standoffs in. All I got to do is drop the motherboard in. Oh, I need to put my IO shield in place. Oh, got to figure out what the hell I did with it. There it is. As you can see, my motherboard has way more ports than the standard IO shield that came with this case. Here is my IO shield. So this one should just pop out. Oh, there's the original one. This actually is the most common layout for ports on a generic motherboard, so you know that's what they include. It even has a little punch out there for the Ethernet, which is usually that's where it's located. The extra punch out here for a game port, you don't see those anymore, and then 3 little extra punch outs for audio. But like I said, mine is laid out completely different. And putting this in is as easy as you come from the inside, and it uses 2 hands, so you're not going to get to see it on camera. All in. It basically just comes in from the inside and then pops into place. Some cases are harder than others to do this on. This one, thankfully, was relatively easy. Thank you, Thermaltake. Motherboard's in. All I got to do is put down the screws, make sure the holes are lined up with the motherboard stands off, and put down the screws. Torque it down, and it should be ready to go. Motherboard is in. Damn telephone is ringing. Oh, that was weird. Oh, hell. Now, as you can see, everything is in. The only thing I might end up doing, and this is later, there's nothing interfering with that fan spinning, thankfully. It was really close. But because of the way, since that's an exhaust fan, I may end up turning this heatsink around later if it'll let me. Now, it's possible that I won't be able to because of the positioning of components on the motherboard, but it would, you know. We also got the 140mm exhaust fan back here pulling air, so, you know, something to consider. But now, should I want to do that, do I have access to all the bolt holes? And look at, oh, I might be able to do that without taking the motherboard off, but I don't know. It'd be hard to get a standard Phillips head screwdriver in there. Well, actually, you don't need it. You know, actually, I could do that because you don't need a Phillips head screwdriver. All you have to do is hold this on, and the bolts come through the other side, so that actually still works just fine. That's really cool. If I did want to switch around the orientation of this Thermaltake True 120 Extreme, it wouldn't be very hard to do at all. So now, motherboard is bolted in. All I gotta do is put in the power supply and route cables, which is going to take me hours because I'm so anal about it. My monstrous beast of a power supply. This is a Corsair TX 750 750 watt power supply that I've had for about 1.5 years, 2 years now. Never let me down. Awesome. You guys were wondering how I was going to squeeze in that power supply. Well, the power supply cage is held in with 2 thumb screws. So it just basically, once you remove the 2 thumb screws, it slides in and out. There's a little place for it to go. Pretty cool, huh? So now I can mount my power supply. It's constantly amazing to me the amount of detail that has gone into this case. If you look here, there's a track here, and there's actually one on the other side too. I don't know if you can see, but it's made to fit the exact width of an ATX power supply. So no longer do you have to sit and hold your power supply up while you're trying to put your power supply screws in. This little track holds it for you, so you can get it bolted in securely. That is awesome. Power supply is bolted in, or screwed in, however you want to say. Now I just have to deal with all this spaghetti and routing, and that's going to take a long time. But I really like, I see a lot of BTX or whatever you want to call the form factor, where power supplies are being mounted down at the bottom of the case now. But a lot of case manufacturers aren't going to the trouble to put vents down here where the power supply can be mounted right side up like it should be, and pull in its own fresh air source from the bottom of the case. Instead, I've seen people ruin their power supplies because they'll mount their power supplies in this orientation with the fan facing the bottom of the case, but the bottom of the case has no air supply, no vents, and their power supplies will just burn up in a couple of months because they're unable to cool themselves. With that kind of case, you usually have to mount the power supply upside down so that the fan is up here. But I thought it was worthy of note. Big props to Thermaltake for doing it right. A testament to some of the excellent cable routing possibilities with this case. I have the 12-volt power lead, the auxiliary EPS 12-volt that almost all motherboards need nowadays. Run up through this hole and run up through this little hole, which it was hard to get in there, believe me. That's because this Corsair has real fat connectors, and plugged in up there, so it's completely hidden. And hopefully I'll be able to do the rest with the other cable, do the same thing with the other cables. I hate seeing a tangle of cables everywhere. Now we have our main 24 pin, the big fat ATX power cable, routed from the back. It'll be at the back pretty soon anyway, and plugged in. So we have motherboard power taken care of. Another bonus with this case I just discovered is that the hard drive cage is removable. I must be missing another thumb screw somewhere. There it is. That's cool. That'll make it easy to install the hard drive. Well, there we go. Completely removed hard drive cage. There's two thumb screws, one here and one here, and then these two tabs you lift, you pull them together, and the hard drive cage just snaps right out. Pretty dang cool. Gives me a lot more room when I'm routing these cables anyway. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Totally freaking awesome. Thank you, Thermaltake. Finally, some case manufacturer has figured out that different motherboards have different power LED configurations. There are some motherboards that have a 3-pin power LED where the positive is on one side of the 3 pins and the ground is on the other side. And then there are some motherboards that have just a 2-pin power LED configuration. Well, I can't tell you how many times that I've had to take a needle or whatever and swap these wires around to get it to fit in a 2-pin slot. Thermaltake has done the work for us and given us a little pigtail so we can choose. That is just, I talk about attention to detail. That is so cool. My motherboard happens to be one that just uses a regular 2-pin connector, so all I have to do is plug it in with my left hand, no less. Let's see, positive is on the left with my motherboard, so there we go. I am all plugged in. I could plug the power supply up right now and the motherboard would power up. Now I have no drives in it yet, no video card in it yet, but things are progressing well.